Hi guys, my name is Crystal. I'm just going to turn the light on again. Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 10:41 p.m.
Right guys, where did I leave off on my last video? The man upstairs. Right, so when I got back, I was extremely upset, I was distressed, I felt terrible, I felt humiliated. I walked out of the flats and the lady I've been talking to, her name is Glen, I presume it's short for Glenda. We've been having conversations round the back. Glen used to sit out the back sunbathing in a dress. An older lady with short hair, I would imagine she's between 75 to 80. And she's been talking to me, and I'm a woman. She also has been talking to my neighbour upstairs, and he's been talking to her husband, I presume. So one evening I went outside and Glen was feeding her cat Whiskers Crunches. She said her cat was thin. I noticed that her cat was thin, quite thin actually. And I was going to give Glen a box of Whiskers. I'm a nice person. I was going to give her a box of Whiskers. So she asked me where I lived and I said in the block of flats here. And then I said to Glen, do you like living here? And she went, yes, it's okay. And then we started, neighbours start talking about each other, don't they? It's natural. It happens everywhere. A neighbour will start talking about another neighbour. It happens where my mum lives. They kept moaning about my dad's car being parked where it was, and now the car's gone, they've got nothing to talk about. They kept making comments about my dad's car. And for a few days after my father's car had gone, nobody parked there anyway, so they was all moaning. And when the car went, no one actually parked in the space. This is what people are like, right? So we got talking and I said, I find the flats noisy. I've been having noise from above and you can hear through the walls. And she said to me, yeah, they are noisy, aren't they? She said, I've got dogs between me. So she's got those noisy dogs at the bottom and some more dogs next to her. Glen has. And she was telling me all about the guy upstairs. And she said to me that he lived in a 1-bedroom flat with 3 kids and that his girlfriend was a drug addict. This is what I was told. His girlfriend was a drug addict and that he'd taken the kids away from his girlfriend. And he was sleeping on the sofa. That's what I was told. And I've always felt sorry for the guy upstairs. I wrote a letter saying I felt sorry for him. No way have I been vindictive or nasty. I've always wanted help and support for him. I'm a nice, kind person. It often sounded like the floors were being bashed in, furniture was being thrown around. All I could hear was swearing and children screaming. And it's a natural instinct in a human when they hear noise to go and investigate what it is. It's natural. Especially when it's so loud, it's affecting your everyday life. When you can't watch the telly, you can't sit still. And it's affecting your everyday life and existence, the noise. Now, upstairs has been quiet all week. There's not been a sound up there. I don't know why, but there's been no sound at all. And all I've heard is the neighbours next to me, on loudspeaker on their phones, going outside, sitting on the balcony. I never noticed it before because my whole existence for the past 2 years has been the noise upstairs. I haven't heard anything else. I didn't hear other neighbours because I was just listening to that. and avoiding that, going to my mum's and dad's, getting away from that. That was my whole existence and life, you see. Now other people are being noisy. He's been dead quiet for a week and it's other people that have been noisy. So when I was talking to Glenn, she said he's got care and support workers and she doesn't understand, and neither do I, why he's in a one-bedroom flat with a disabled kid. He should be out somewhere else. We were only talking and being nice, right? After I had that chat with Glenn, I never saw her again. I never saw her for days afterwards, after she chatted with me and gave me a couple of dog chews. She gave me a couple of doggy chews. Here they are, still got them. She gave me half-chewed dog chews to give to Max. Right, she's a nice lady. She talks to everybody. But she was talking to me and I'm a woman. And I was concerned about the welfare of the kids upstairs. Right? So when I left the building this afternoon, I was dropped out of the car opposite. My son said he was in a hurry. We were going to have a coffee from the co-op. Dogs started barking. A kid went dog, dog. And I went into the flats and I changed my wet shorts and put some trousers on. And I went to the toilet and I went out to talk to my son. And he drove up the road talking to me. So he was driving his car up the road whilst he was speaking. And Glenn was talking to another neighbour and she burst out laughing. Now it wasn't at me, but you know what that feels like when you've had a shit day and you've got out the car, you're soaking wet, somebody's taking the piss and you've heard dog, dog. So I come out the flats and she bursts into laughter, laughs her head off. I don't know what, because I didn't hear what the joke was. Then I walk up the path, there's a man stood in front of me with a dog barring my way. So I've got a dog lead and a dog on the end of it. And a bloke stood there and I'm trying to keep calm, cool and collective whilst obstacles are coming in my way. And I said to my son, I need to check my bank account. I've spent a lot of money that I really can't afford and I need to check my bank account. And he drove off and I was left alone. I looked at my bank account and I kept calm and I walked Max around the field. Now, there's a chap with a chihuahua. He's got a girlfriend with a baby in a pram. So the guy with the chihuahua, when I was coming back from walking Max, started talking to a blonde woman with a curly-haired brown dog. Now, I'd walked past her and she'd not spoken a word to me. I'm a woman anyway, it doesn't matter, I'm just saying. So she purposely stops the dog and starts talking to this bloke with a chihuahua, right? Now, when I get into my flat, I'm upset, I'm wound up. I talk to my mum, I ring my mum up. She's laughing her head off, she sounds like she's drunk. My mum Jennifer sounded like she was drunk and she was laughing like something was funny. I needed some advice, I needed some support and she was laughing and she kept talking about herself. Like I was talking about her. I was saying these things were happening to me and she said, oh well, Jennifer doesn't put on a show. Jennifer stays indoors. And that wasn't any help to me at all. I wanted to be consoled. I wanted someone to calm me down and help me. And my mum sounded like she was drunk. So the neighbours on the balcony were out there. They've been on and off talking on their mobiles. I came back in and unbeknownst to me, my neighbour upstairs had parked his Ford Mondeo where my son had dropped me off, where those kids had shouted dog. So his car is parked opposite the guys with the pug dogs, and that is where my son left me to walk and come into the flats, right? I didn't all I did was show some concern towards those children when they were screaming, right? I didn't talk to him. I'm not aggressive. I've never knocked on the door. I've never been nasty. Glenn said she'd heard him swearing, but she said she's spoken to him and he's a very nice man. He's a very quietly spoken, nice man. That's what she told me. She said she'd heard him swearing, but she thinks he's very nice. Right? There were cars like my neighbours at the beach. Audis, the same shape. Right? There was a motorbike with a big fat man driving it with a helmet on his head and a big fat girl with shorts right up to her crotch on the back, a blonde. And when my dad used to take me to All Hallows, we used to see tanks, dead pigs in the road. But my dad was taking me to All Hallows, not to abuse his wife, but to abuse me, his daughter. He wasn't abusing Jennifer at Park Holiday Caravan Park, he was abusing his daughter. So, you know, my mum used to carry a big black bag, my mum. She's the one that wears big baggy jeans with the turned up at the bottoms. The diary is about my mum. Right, guys? It's me talking about my mum, not my son talking about me. My mum sits indoors all day. She doesn't get driven to Herne Bay. My mum hasn't been to Margate this year, or Herne Bay, or Broadstairs. It's me. You know, my dad did evil things to me at these holiday places. Evil. And got away with it. When people were watching, people were laughing. There was people watching my dad doing to me what he did to me in the opposite caravan, and I know they were, and they got out of that caravan in the morning laughing. Right? I don't know what's going on, but you ring the police, no one helps. My mum said you need to get help and support. Can you tell me from where from? Where am I supposed to get support from? I can't look after myself. Well, I tell you guys, I'm in my flat by my fucking self now with no help at all. There's no one here apart from me and the dog. And there's cars parked outside with the number plate Die. What, did they want David to dump his mother and leave her to die, did they? Well, that's what my dad used to do to my mum. He used to throw her out while the car was moving in the middle of the fucking road. And we know the police are fucking useless, because you ring 999 and some silly cow answered, really? Did that really happen? Why don't you go and find him? You know, if someone attacks you, why don't you go and find him? The police don't go out, they tell you to go and find somebody that's just attacked you. I mean, really? What the fuck is going on here? I can't look after myself, and here I am in my flat by myself. Cobblers. Right, guys. If anybody wants to take me out again, right, you know, be prepared. See you later.